language learning myths. Most likely you guys also have heard a lot of these. What are they? These are the superstitions, the doubts people have, which makes them either never to learn a new language. They think they are adults, for example, and they will never be able to learn a language. Or people who have been learning a language for 6 months or 1 year, and they simply think because of this reason or that reason they will never be able to learn a new language. Myths like these, they stop people from learning a new language. And in this video I have compiled the most common language learning myths that new and old learners have, and I will clarify it hopefully once and for all. Let's get started. The biggest language learning myth is you need to go to that country in order to truly learn this new language. I have seen this and heard this so many times. In fact, this is what I was told too when I was first time learning a language. Even still now, when I talk to people that tell me, no, man, you can't learn a language. You need to visit to that country or talk to a professional teacher, or you need to have a friend who can speak that language, otherwise you will never be able to learn it. Let me tell you something. I have learned languages previously, and right now I am learning French. In terms of French, I have started from complete zero. I knew nothing. The only thing I knew about French was the word bonjour, and I wasn't even sure if this was a French word or not. I also didn't know what bonjour meant. This is all I knew about French. And I never met a French speaking person. I don't know any French friends. And inside my room, everything I learned about French, I learned it inside my room from books and audiobooks. This is how I am learning French. You can learn a language alone, but with all that said, if you have a friend or something who you can talk to and who speaks the new language that you are learning, yes, it will help you a lot, but this does not mean you cannot do it alone. You can learn a new language alone by yourself. I have done it. Lots of other people have done it. This is a false concept. You cannot learn a new language without a teacher. This is another common myth. Once when I was very new to language learning, this is what I also believed. While a teacher will be very helpful, you actually don't need a teacher. You can do it by yourself. Let's just say you are doing it from a book. So you need a book that has audio. Though there are lots of books that have audio too. Now audio part is important because you need to listen those words carefully. So get a book which has audio. What example will such as Teach Yourself book? It has audio. So read the book along with the audio and eventually you will learn it. There are also audio books which are basically completely completed through listening. So that are also helpful, very helpful in language learning. And there are also free stuff and videos and video courses, paid video courses on Udemy and websites like that you can use. So yeah, you don't need a professional teacher to teach you. You can do it alone by yourself. This is how I'm learning languages now. I don't use any teacher. So yeah, you can do it alone. This is again another false myth. Another very common and famous myth. I am too old to learn a new language. Only babies can learn new languages. Only children can learn new languages. Adults cannot do, etc., etc. Let me tell you something. Actually, let me show you something. This person you are seeing on screen right now, his name is Steve Kaufman. After retiring over the age of 60 years, he decided to have a new hobby because he was free. And the hobby he decided to get was learning new languages. Right now he is 77 years old as of the time of making this video, and he speaks, I believe, more than 20 languages. He surely speaks 20, but I think right now it's even more than 20. And he learned all of them after, other than the first 2 or 3 languages he could speak, which were French and English and Swedish, because he lives in Canada and he is from Swedish background. So other than those 3, he learned all the rest of his languages alone by himself as a hobby as an old retired person. You can learn a language at any age. This is another false concept, another excuse. There is no right or wrong age for learning. You can learn at any age, at any stage. Another very common myth. Polyglots have a special ability which helps them in learning languages. I don't have it, etc. What is polyglot for those who don't know? Polyglots are people who learn lots of languages. So, when someone tells me that I have a special ability which helps me learn a language, I tell them this: do not confuse my hard work with special ability. The special ability that I had was that I forced myself every day in a new language, learning the new language, and this is how I learned it. Language learning is a hard activity that you have to do every single day. Now, it doesn't have to be a hard activity. You can simply devote like 30 minutes or 1 hour. But if you devote more time, then sure, you will learn it quicker. I spend about 2 hours every day, at least 2 hours. There are some additional side activity when it comes to learning, but mainly my main focus of study is 2 hours, and I do this every single day, and this is how I learn languages. There is no special ability. While with that said, yes, there are some people who can do some things better than others, but definitely I am not one of them. I learn languages slow, but I do it. Simply, I just do it every single day and I achieve it. Language learning takes years and years and years to learn. Now, to address this myth, the answer is not easy, it's complicated. While yes, you cannot learn a language in 3 months or something like that. If you are lucky, you and the new language that you are learning is very similar to yours, such as Spanish and Portuguese, Ukrainian, Russian, Urdu, Hindi. You can learn a language to B2 if not B1 level in 6 months. And B2 level is required in many countries if you wish to do an office kind of job over there. But if the languages are not similar, you don't know any similar languages, then for something like French and German, in order to reach a proper B2 level, you are looking at about, at least if you really push yourself, 1 year and 6 months. But if you take it gently, then about 2+ years of journey. Now, what about the most difficult languages? Let's take Chinese for example, the most difficult language to learn for English speakers. Well, I talk to a lot of people that learn Chinese or are learning Chinese, and they say you study about 4 to 5 hours a day, you are looking at about 4+ years at least to learn Chinese. But to a B2 level, learn Chinese 4+ years to a B2 level. But I think Chinese, even a language like Chinese, can be learned much quickly. I am doing a research on fastest way to learn languages, and based on that, even a language like Chinese, which is very alien to English, it can be learned quite quickly. 4 years is too much. Something like 2 years, you should be able to learn it. Now, my research is not complete. I have been doing this research for over 1 year and it still continues. I am not sure how long it will be. But when my research is complete, I will be applying this research on myself while learning Chinese, and I will be documenting that, the entire journey, because that journey will be published along with my research. And with that, I will prove that yes, even a very difficult language like Chinese can be learned very quickly without spending like 4 or 5 years or even more. Now, but even with this research, I mean, it's not like a foolproof research where you will be learn a language in 3 or 4 months. Still, in a realistic scenario of like 2 years, I'm going to just say 2 years. As you learn a new language, you go through different stages. And if you focus on specific points in these different stages, it will severely accelerate your language learning process. Now, language learning, if you have done it already, you know how long and complicated it is. So, my research will take quite a lot of time before it is polished and I publish it. So, right now I'm not going to talk much about it, but as I publish new videos, you guys will see more and more about my research. So yeah, right now I'm not going to talk much about it. But just in case, I'm working on it, and something like Chinese, even Chinese can be learned much quicker. You cannot learn a new language by just studying it for 30 minutes a day. A very common myth. You can even learn a language 15 minutes a day. Something is better than nothing. With that said, I do recommend a minimum of 30 minutes a day. Now 30 minutes isn't much. You can easily do it. You can easily find 30 minutes of time in a day. So do little by little, but make sure to do it every day, and eventually you will learn it. And it's just not that, you can have 30 minutes of active study, and then in free time like toilet, eating, walking, bus, etc., you can find additional supplementary time. You can hear audiobooks or do language learning activities on your phone. Phone is a magical device nowadays. It's a gift of the modern times. Use it, you can learn language from it. So 30 minutes active study, and then additionally you can use your phone for reading or listening or watching, whatever methodology you use. You can just make sure to use that supplementary time too. But if not, if you only study 30 minutes a day, yes, you can learn a new language. Just make sure to do it every single day. Another myth. In order to speak language, you really need to speak to another person. Otherwise, you will never be able to speak. Okay. To address this myth, it is a bit complicated, but yes, if you speak to another person, and this is the best way to practice speaking, but with that said, you will not be able to speak if you never meet another person. That is incorrect. I have learned English this way by practicing myself. There are courses available for speaking such as Pimsleur, and there are lots of other methodologies you can use for speaking. To practice speaking, just know speaking is a skill that requires certain types of practices. Language Lord has a very good video where he learns to speak in a very short time. Just remember one thing, when he says he's learned a language in 1 month or something, just remember that he's actually trying to say he learned to speak the new language in short amount of time. He's not learning language from complete zero to speaking very well in 1 month or something. It is just not possible in any way. And my English was like this. I studied for a long time, but in school, but I could not speak it for a very long time. Also, I couldn't understand it too unless subtitles were added in video. I was not able to understand anything. But I practiced alone. I practiced with myself, and eventually, in a very short time, I was able to speak at B2 level. So yeah, I'm not gonna say in a very short time, but yeah, I managed to understand and speak English to a good B2 level. My listening is actually at C1 level, but my speaking is at B2 level. And so, yes, you can do it alone if you spend enough time. Now, if I want, I can further improve my English to C1 level or even C2 level. But I'm fine with B2 level of speaking. People understand me, and that's all I care. If you want to improve further, go ahead. So these are the language learning myths. Along with language learning myths, there are also language learning mistakes. If you are learning a language, make sure to avoid these mistakes. I have made a detailed video about common mistakes that language learners make that make them stuck or simply quit language learning. So make sure to avoid that. And other than that, if there are some myths I have not addressed, sure, comment down below. I will make a new video out of it. And I will see you guys again.